We'll just start out. What's your name and your profession, and how long have you been doing it?
Well, my name's Russell Knight. I'm owner of Knight's Taxidermy Incorporated in Anchorage, Alaska. I've been in the same location for 37 years. I've been in Alaska since April Fool's Day, 1977, doing the same job, same building, same location. However, I started doing taxidermy at age 12, and I took a mail order course through the mail for $1 a month. By the time I graduated high school, I'd worked all through high school as a taxidermist, and I bought a one-way ticket and flew to Alaska over 30 years ago. And ever since then, I've had Alaska's largest taxidermy shop, and we float between 15 and 17 employees on a daily basis. And, we got about a 9,500 square foot location and a 30,000 square foot parking lot. And I've had a TV show on History Channel. I did 16 episodes of a TV show called in Alaska. And so that's what's going on. And I'm a well-known taxidermist throughout the world.
Awesome. And okay, so I guess next question would be, when have you first heard of Rick Dyer, and have you looked into him yet?
Yes, I have heard of him, and I heard of him earlier this year when some pictures started popping up on Facebook, and so I started looking, and when I clicked on one of the links, it was him talking on a YouTube thing, and the minute I looked at it, I ruled it as a hoax, and I didn't really become interested in it too much because it just smelled too much of a hoax. And then I found out, in some further reading, that he had actually perpetrated a hoax a number of years earlier. And then, I just keep seeing and more about this, and then you called me up and asked me if I had an opinion on it. So then I went out and watched 2 or 3 of those videos on YouTube a couple days ago, or yesterday, or whatever it was, and checked it all out. And I actually posted challenges to him on his YouTube videos. And I challenged him that in a very blindful way, not disrespectful in any way, that I was a taxidermist of good standing in the trade, and that I would like to verify his taxidermy amount. And that I would bring 2 other qualified taxidermists, and I'd pay all expenses if he had just let me have access to his critter unencumbered, as far as without a case. And I basically posted that on several of his websites, YouTube things. And I don't expect to hear back from him, but I've had several interesting comments.
Oh, really? I can only imagine. All right. So, why would you make your opinion on that without not seeing it physically?
Well, I do a lot of prop work. I do a lot of Hollywood stuff, props and mannequins and fake stuff. I use a lot of fake furs, and I do a lot of silicone rubbers, and I do a lot of sculpturing and horn reproductions and horn castings and creations and recreations. And I'm making a cool thing right now called a Moose Tour for a movie that's coming out. And but I'm not unfamiliar with what goes on in the creation world, right? Or creation world, as it's called. And that means you're just fabbing something up out of thin air. And when I saw the original picture of his face, and it looked like it was laying there frozen or something, and it had this wide nose, the most striking feature to me about it, besides its human features, facial features, was this fur. And the fur just looked so totally fake, and it looked just like the same fur you can get down at Michael's, which is a store that sells fake fur, right? And, they're a hobby and craft store. And so the more I start looking at it, the more you have to wonder, okay, so if this guy won't make this subject available, if I personally had a Bigfoot, I would be providing samples to every scientist in the scientific community. I'd be supplying flesh and DNA, and I would have the skeleton articulated, and I would have the skin and the animal mounted in a professional position of life, not like he has it in this clear glass box laying dead on its back.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure he understands what taxidermy is. And so a taxidermist would not mount an animal in a dead position. And there's no process that a taxidermist uses that like there's no injection of chemicals and doing some kind of mummification and all that kind of stuff. That's not what taxidermy is. And taxidermy means to arrange or move about layers of skin. And in the 1800s, taxidermy graduated from the term, let's stuff that animal, to let's have it mounted, when a guy named Carl Akeley invented what's called the form, or a hard mannequin to put the skin on, as opposed to taking the skin, sewing all the openings shut, and stuffing it full of straw, sawdust, or sand. Right?
Okay.
So taxidermy back in the, long time ago, 15, 16, 1700s, they were still doing it, but they were stuffing the skins. Because they had no chemicals, no ways to make an actual frame or a mannequin. And then one day this fellow named Carl Akeley had the idea that he would make a mold and put that skin on that mold. And that's when taxidermy was modernized, and skins became a tanned leather product that was put on a sculptured mannequin. And if I was doing a Bigfoot and I had the actual Bigfoot right here in my shop, not only would we take carcass castings, but we'd take the skin off the animal's body, and then we would mold, photograph, and measure everything there was to know about the carcass of that animal, and so that we can replicate it. And then we would take geltrate materials and make it a non-harmful casting of the animal's body, so that we would have an actual image to refer back to. Well, when we're mounting it, we could get the muscle structure, because this is an animal that supposedly nobody's ever seen. And if you just skin the animal out, you don't have and throw the carcass away, you don't have any information. All your information is retained within that skeleton and the flesh upon it. So for him to have this claim that he has Bigfoot, and he won't really give anybody access, or access to certain people that he won't name, I'm saying I challenge him, as Russell Knight, big game taxidermist in Anchorage, Alaska, for the last 37 years, to give me and my team at the National Taxidermist Association access to his animal, because I'm on the board of directors with the National Taxidermist Association. And we would bring in a team, because a taxidermist, our association would love, if it was a real thing, there's magazines and associations and there's just all kinds of things that people would line up to see the real deal, if it was really Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'm not believing it for a second.
And so my whole point is there's just a much more intensive view that a real taxidermist would take. Maybe he has the real Bigfoot. Maybe he's done this. Maybe he has turned it over to taxidermist and somebody mounted it. And if he's claiming that, I'm just saying, okay, let's take a look. Let me verify that that's a real skin on an animal, and not
Yeah, the hair.
The hair just is the worst part about it.
And when you look at, like, the face of the picture that I sent you, can you confirm, like, the presence of glue, latex-based model paint, any of that?
I can't confirm it, but looking at it, it looks like a silicone. It looks like a model of something that we would probably recreate around here if we was going to make a Bigfoot. I mean, I could make that same thing right here in a matter of 2 weeks and make it look real realistic.
Oh, you should
and
do it.
Using flexible silicones and flesh tones and airbrushable silicones and implantable hairs, and it's just a whole host of stuff that can be done. It's just unbelievable. And, you know, how do you think to make all these really wonderful movie monsters? What you got here is a movie prop that this guy is perpetrating. In my opinion, it looked to me like to be a movie prop. Somebody spent a little time on it and made this thing. And if it's really the real deal, well then let the National Taxidermist Association and Russell Knight have access to it, and we'll verify your claim. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I have another question. Being a taxidermist, would you even taxidermy a Bigfoot if you had one? Or do you consider them to be too human?
Well, I can tell you that if I was to have an access to a Bigfoot, to a bona fide service such as Fish and Wildlife sanctioned through Fish and Game, through Department of Sciences, through Scripps, or some large organization had their hands on it, needed it mounted in a scientific way and taxidermied, I'd be privileged to do it, even if it had human-like features. I mean, we mount monkeys and gorillas and things like that, and I will tell you, it is freaky working on an animal that has features like a human. I mean, I've hunted Africa, and I've taken baboons and all these different things and monkeys, and yeah, you know, it's not something that I just, gonna hold my breath and wait on, but I think that if there was an opportunity, and like I said, it was a sanctioned entity, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, somebody took the animal and it was turned over to a real, authority that could give me permission to work on it without getting in trouble with the feds. Because I don't know that you can kill and possess a Bigfoot. And the first thing I do is, I get exotic animals in from all over the world. And the most exotic animal I've ever mounted was known as the Russian saiga. And this saiga is a high-altitude antelope that lives in Russia, and it's got this weird nose that turns way down, and it kind of looks like it's this weird elephant, little pig-looking thing with horns. Strangest-looking animal you've ever seen in your life. And when I took one of those in, I had to verify with U.S. Fish and Wildlife that I could either have my hands on it or possess it in my shop, because I don't want to break any laws or anything like that. And I've never had a violation in over 30 years. So, I'm very right down the law kind of thing. And if somebody was to show up with a pickup truck and a dead Bigfoot in the back of it, and then didn't want to make it public and didn't want to bring in the authorities and let everybody see it, well then I wouldn't have anything to do with them, because they're shysters or hucksters or whatever you want to call them.
So what would Fish and Wildlife say if you told them you had a Bigfoot?
Well, it really depends on where this thing was taken, because there's jurisdiction, right? And there's all these organizations. I have to deal with U.S. Fish and Wildlife on a daily basis for permits to be able to even ship a bear hide into Canada, right?
Uh-huh.
And I had to do what's known as sealing process for the state, I had to put a seal on it and apply a number to it, and there's these rules for possessing these animals. And I just can't believe, and so in the state law, and I believe it's federal law as well, is that if there is no season on an animal that is unknown or is not normally in that region, for instance, a cougar or a mountain lion was to show up into Alaska, which sometimes it happens, but it's not common. Well, there's no seasonal mountain lion hunting, so therefore there is no hunting of it, and it would be illegal to kill. Right?
Okay.
So any animal doesn't have a season is illegal to shoot. So therefore, killing a Bigfoot would be probably a very grave violation of state and federal law.
I agree.
I mean, seriously, I personally rather see it captured than killed. And if I was standing there looking at it and it wasn't threatening me, I wouldn't shoot it just for the sake of killing it, to prove that I had Bigfoot. I'd take pictures of it, try to do DNA samples of this area, do whatever, but I'm not going to take this animal's life just to prove to the world that it existed. I mean, I'm going to do it through a different way if it truly existed. You're going to have pictures. There's people that camp out. I personally know photographers that for National Geographic and all these different deals, people that I've worked with over years, and they go sit on animal sites for 2 and 3 weeks at a time building blinds and hides just to catch this one animal photograph, like the pygmy pigs of South America, and that's the kind of thing that would have to be done. If you truly saw Bigfoot, you truly had evidence of him, well, you sure as hell I'd be really pissed if you killed him.
A lot of people are very upset that he's even claiming to have shot one.
Well, I think somebody needs to start pointing out to him that it's probably a violation of state and federal law. And if he takes it across state borders, then he's violated the Lacey Act, not to mention any of these state and federal laws for taking an animal that does not have a season enlisted upon it. So, like if I was wandering around out in the woods in Alaska and I ran across some animal that's not supposed to be here, i.e. that mountain lion, and I killed it and took it to Fish and Game, I'm going to get a big ticket.
Yeah.
And then people are going to start investigating me. And if you really kill Bigfoot, I can assure you, Fish and Wildlife's going to be over there. U.S. Department of Fish and Game is going to be over there. They're going to be checking for state and federal laws and any land violations of where you were. And they're going to totally check you out before you're just giving free rein over that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that they would give anyone free rein over a Bigfoot body if someone shot one. They'd probably take it.
No, I'm thinking, like I said, that's why I said it would have to be from a state or federal entity or, somebody of authority. A university has called me up to be the taxidermist on it. And it's a well-known case. I would love to mount an animal like that, right? I'd love to be the guy that got to take it apart, see the muscle structures for the first time, see all the bones and do articulated skeleton, build a mannequin. I mean, it'd be like earth-shattering, I mean, it really would be if that was really the case. It'd be like this taxidermist named Kent Yulberg, who in the University of Fairbanks back in the 70s, when I was a young taxidermist, they found a full frozen ancient bison in the mud. And it still had flesh, skin, and everything on it. And out of all the taxidermists in the whole world, this guy named Kent Yulberg got called to mount this animal. And it's still mounted up in the University of Fairbanks beautiful museum, and it's called Blue Babe. And it had been in the mud for so long that the skin turned blue, and it had no hair on it. And they decided to mount it in the position they found it in, which was kind of like it was just sitting there, laying down on its haunches, with 4 legs, and it was just a blue animal. And so this man got to mount a 100,000-year-old animal, and that's never been done before. And that was earth-shattering back in the 70s, right?
So this would be even greater. And do you think a taxidermist would be able to keep something like this quiet, or would he want that on his resume?
Oh, he's going to want it on his resume. Any taxidermist, first thing I'm going to do is, if I actually have Bigfoot up, I'm going to let practically every taxidermist in the country know about it, because I'm going to want their opinions and suggestions and possible help, from the industry, because this is it'd be like, the first spaceship landing out in the desert, and we've made contact, and, we got to figure out how to talk to them and shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's how monumental finding Bigfoot is.
Yeah, and you would have heard something in your community of taxidermists.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. This guy, he's either got a great sculpture, he is a great sculptor, he knows about plastic works and fake hair and molding and casting and all the cool things that I swear you wouldn't know somebody it was fake just to look at it, and so he's just trying to make his run, I think. But I would like to take him at his word and just have access to it. And I won't judge him until I'm done. I won't prejudge him or think he's a weirdo or nothing. Even though he rambles a lot on this YouTube and doesn't produce stuff. He just flaps his lips and he don't really say nothing. And so I think he's in love with himself on camera. And this is all just part of him trying to figure out how to get in the limelight. And I can tell you that this could be all a prelude to him getting, right now there are TV shows out there called Mountain Monsters and Bigfoot shows, 2 or 3 Bigfoot shows floating around out there. And he could be bucking for a TV show, and this could all be a big hoax that he's going to turn around and flip on everybody and say, aha, I was really filming a TV show.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. He's probably filming, yeah.
I mean, just think about this.
Okay.
If he's really smart, he's perpetrating a hoax on you guys, and then he's going to break it out and be filming it, and it's going to be a film about the hoax and how y'all reacted to it. But yet at the same time, he's going to be going, yeah, this is a hoax, and everybody knows it, but we're doing an experiment, kind of like Punk You.
Yeah. Just, showing, the Bigfoot community in a bad light.
Yeah. So, and trying to make money at it. So I'm just telling you, it could be as simple as him bucking for a TV show, and this is part of it.
Oh wow!
I've been involved in a lot of shows, and I've had a network TV show. I'm on a new network show coming out. I can't tell you what it is, but there it is, and so. This is a classic. When a producer tells you want to get a show, go get a YouTube channel and start seeing how many visitors you can get. And this is all the classic signs of somebody trying to get a reality TV show based on Bigfoot.
Because, it's pretty popular right now. So, and
really popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, they never find nothing. But... they always hear them hooting.
Yeah.
Right? No, I mean, I love watching it. Believe it or not, I've been a Bigfoot fan. I went and saw the Bigfoot movie in the 70s when it came out.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm a Bigfoot fan. I just don't believe this guy's got the goods. I'd like to verify it as an authority in the trade.
Yep.
And why don't you help me make that happen? Like I said, I challenged him on his little YouTube site and said, come on, and let's do this, get it over with. But I could just see he has a film crew off to the side, and he's making some kind of gag you show.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I think's going on. That's just my opinion.
It could be. I know that he's been doing this for over a year about the same Bigfoot. First he shot it, and then it just went on and on. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. He's always asking.
Why would you have to wait? Why would you have to wait?
Yes,
If you shoot a big deer, what do? You don't make your buddies wait. You run down to the general store where everybody's drinking coffee, and you back up there and you show it to them. Then you go over there to the car wash and show it to a couple people over there. And then you drive down the fishing game, let them see it. Then you take it over to the taxidermy shop and hang out there all day.
Yeah.
Because you're so proud of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the way you'd be if you had a Bigfoot. If I had actually killed a Bigfoot in self-defense, that's the only way. Let's say I was hiking through the woods with my dog, and this big furry creature grabbed me and started mauling the hell out of me, and I pulled my gun out and killed it, and it turned out to be Bigfoot. Well, that's the only way I would kill a Bigfoot, is in self-defense, right?
Same here.
And he'd had to be mauling me first. I wouldn't put myself in a position he could maul me, right? But personally, my personal opinion is, as bad as I want to see Bigfoot, as bad as I would like to mount one, as much as I'd like to see somebody have a real great encounter with them, and we finally have a hidden species of something out there, I haven't seen any real conclusive evidence to date that convinces me of that.
Yep, me either. I'm still hoping, though.
Yeah, me too. We can always hope.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, I can't hardly believe that we're the only planet with life on it in all the universe, in the whole great goodness of everything.
I don't believe that either.
I can't, okay, well, I kind of believe that. I can't believe there's probably, like, for instance, did you see where they just found a brand new species of porpoise over in Vietnam?
Was it the dolphin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so, that kind of, so there's still these new species of different things out there. And it's possible that this creature lives here in the great Northwest or over the east or down the south, the boogie swamps and all this and that. But frankly, I think it's a legend.
Well, it's been a good long-running legend.
Yeah, I think it's a legend, man, and I think it was somebody had the hell scared out of them way back when, and they described it as Bigfoot to get a little more oomph out of the deal, and it got embellished, and it just went on from there. Kind of like the abominable snowman. They're finding that the fur that they thought was the abominable snowman was actually a breed of polar bear and grizzly bear.
Yep. Watched it.
Right?
Yep.
So that's all. I find all that stuff very interesting, don't you?
Oh, yes. I eat it up. I love this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, I guess we'll just end it here. He can edit it. But, oh my gosh, thank you so much for letting me call you back. It means a lot.
Well, let me know what goes on, I'd like to know.
Oh, you will be
Inquiring minds want to know.
You'll be kept informed. Interview done by Jennifer Kaywood, a Crypto Crew team member.